to go ahead and get started. I want to welcome Fanben, Dr. Fanben. He's going to be giving our seminar today, and he's currently a postdoctoral associate over in mechanical engineering. And as you can see, he's going to be talking about his 3D bioprinting project. And so he's been working in this field now for about 4 years.
4 years.
So he received his bachelor's and his MS in biochemistry and molecular biology from China, and his PhD in material science also from China, or in Singapore, excuse me. So he's worked in, his research includes development of electrical chemical biosensors for intracellular drug detection, fabrication of hybridized molecular nanodevices for advanced electronic functions, about to be attacked. He's currently focusing on 3D bioprinting for in vitro models and for multi-targeted registry. So that's what he's going to tell us about today. And so I want to welcome to our seminar series. Thank you for coming.
The first safari, Oh, and also having to invite me here and to give me a great opportunity to discuss our recent work with you guys. I think it's supposed to be Angela here today, right? And I think Angela has some other schedule in the other conference. So yeah, I'm here.
It's supposed to be you.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit different because if the PI here, maybe talk about big pictures and the future collaborations, but for postdoc here, I may give more chance to discuss the detail because I do everything by myself in the lab. So if you have any questions about just stop me and ask. Okay, so let's go back to today's presentation. So today, because I'm from the engineer background and also science background, so all my training is like helping me to allow me to think about to build something. So when I start to enter the field of the 3D printing, so and then after moved from New Jersey, from Princeton to here, and then we started the deep collaboration with the medical school and Angela's group. So I was wondering how can I do something with 3D printing and then for the medical research. So we start this project we use the 3D printing measure and to build a tumor model, and we use the advantage of 3D printing in the spatial control, and then we try to reconstruct the complicated tumor environment and to provide a platform to test the special the treatment, the new treatment, and then screening drugs. So as we know, the conventional medical or biological research are all based on the first start at the cellular level. So they do everything on the cells. So, and basically our tools is culture disc, 6-well plates, 96-well plates. So they are hard plastic. And even with coated protein is very thin layer. And then they don't have very special tissue level structures. Also, they don't have any special biochemical features or the similar mechanical properties in vivo. So, and also they don't have strong intercellular communication, especially the communication with the ECMs. So that's but the cells also give we can culture them. The efficiency is good and they grow fast. So I got enough materials for our research. And then the next step, if we pass the cellular level, normally we directly go to the animal levels. So, but the problem for the animal level, the model animals are really good because they can really provide a similar complicated structure as our body. And also we know they use a similar engine, similar materials to quite similar environment. We can try the drugs, we can do everything. But the problem is all the individual animals, they are different. So, and how do we transfer this result from the animals to the human being is also quite tricky. And also because most of the animal experiment period is quite long, so it's a very low throughput measure, and also the cost is high. And especially if we try some toxic things, and really harmful things for the animals. They also cause some like ethical issue. So the researcher tried to think, because there's a huge gap between these two measures, so if we can build some new models, can bridge this gap, then first we can like make this process much faster, because if we build something in lab, it definitely must raise some animals, and also like to save us a lot of money. So basically the cell cultures, it's fast but too simple. And the animal models, it's complicated but too slow, and the cost is high. So we need something like bridge them. Then the researchers found the 3D models, the 3D culture system, because they found based on the 3D culture, and then the cells act quite different as 2D structures. So if you compare 2D and 3D, not only the morphology, they are different, and also the ability of how fast they can move is also different. Even the expression of the protein are different. So especially the resistance drugs are quite different. This is very important, because like a lot of drug candidates pass the cellular test but fail the animal test, because we just like miss some step between them. So a lot of measures were developed like to target these issues. Like they first developed the like cell superride. It's more like a cluster of cells that compact together to form like sphere structure. So they do a lot of insight about the cell-cell interaction. And also another very like common measures, like we mix the hydrogel or porous polymer scaffold with the cells, and they provide a lot of information about how the cells interact with the ECM proteins, or some the extracellular matrix about how to interact with the cell, how they promote the cell's growth or the cell's growth, the cell movement. And also recently the research introduced like the microfluidic chips into this culture system, and they use those microchannels to simulate the vascular structure in like the blood vessel in our body. So that's good, because we know, especially in the cancer research, like we know the cancer, the tumor need like the new vessels deliver the nutrition, the oxygen, and also provide them a pathway to escape from the original spot to the secondary spot form of the metastatic. So that means this kind of vascular structure is also necessary. But as we know, the tumor is not just a clone of the tumor cells. It's more like a complicated tissue, it's an organ level. So on the left, we can see a list of the main components in the tumor environment. Not only the tumor cells, they also contain blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, a lot of immune cells, and the stroma cells like fibroblasts, amino acids, parasites, and of course the ECM protein, the extracellular matrix, and also a lot of thousands of small chemical molecules, small biomolecules like tune the interaction between the cells. So that means if we want to like build this in vitro models like to capture all the main characteristics in vivo, so we have two main challenges. One, the first one is like how can we like process placement all these kind of different components in the certain location based on their in vivo functions. And then the second one is like, as we know, all of this, like the interaction, the behavior of the cells in vivo is tuned by those signaling molecules. So how can we develop tools like manipulate this kind of biochemical cues like this model? So to target these two challenges, so the 3D printing may give us a solution. I'm not the only solution, but it's really give a good opportunity to like tackle these two challenges, because the 3D printing is famous for the like spatial control. So So it's lithography printing in 3D. They just place some inks in special locations. That's what we need for the first challenges. And also it's like it's a layer by layer edges of materials to form a 3D structure. And another advantage is really, especially we use the extrusion mode 3D printing. So it's basically very flexible to materials. So we can print like hydrogel, like very viscous solution of polymers. We can print nanomaterials. We can also print the living cells. So that means it can, for the materials part, there's no barrier. You can use the 3D printing to print those kind of models. And also like, we can also like customize the design. Like we just give a structure for the printer, and then we write a code, and the surgeon can print them out. That means we cannot only build a model with special. We can like even based on the requirement of different patients and design this model. So it's also another advantage. So in the recent years, our group like did a lot of this work on this area. So we first work is like directly print bionic ears, and then we also incorporate like electronic circuit, like the ears and here something. And also we also print like the nerve guide. This is based on the well-compatible materials, and then to put some drugs inside this nerve guide, and then to try to repair the damage neural system. And then also we can build some like the organ model. So this organ model we just like them to like exactly make a model and use all the parameters in vivo, make this model mechanical properties is exactly the same like all organs. So that means before the surgery, like the surgeons can use this like to practice, like to avoid a lot of like mistakes in the real surgery. So it's really helpful for the patients. And then also like we print a complicated scaffold, and then incorporated the neural projector cells, and then to help them to repair the damaged spinal cord. And also very recently we also like developed like a 3D photo detector, and we can directly print on the curved surface and to get a signal from light and transfer to electrical signals to make us possibility to build a bionic eyes in the future. So based on this experience, that's we know we can like incorporate the cells, functional nanomaterials, and electronics together with the 3D printing to build the model for us. And also, in my previous work, I also developed tools like how to solve the second problem, that is about the gradient of the different biomolecules, this kind of single molecules. So our design is basically it's very simple. We use the sequential printing method. We first print a core. So the core is a water solution-based core. So we put some like polymer to adjust viscosity and to maintain the hemisphere structure of the core. And then for this core, so we can put the biomolecules we want. We can incorporate the DNAs, proteins, enzymes, growth factors. And then the second layer, we print a polymer layer. So here I use the PLGA because PLGA is FDA-approved polymer. And then inside the polymer, we use the golden nanorods to functionalize the polymer layer. We know the golden nanorods use the plasmonic effect. They have strong photothermal effect. That means if we introduce a light, and the light radiates on the top of the golden nanorods, the golden nanorods can produce a lot of heat. And then we know the later the star size is small, and the golden nanorods is super tiny. So that means it's more like a locally heating. So the only damage a small area, but that small area is enough to like break the polymer layer and make some holes on the polymer. And then the payload, the small molecule payload inside the core can be released from the capsules. So that means based on the 3D printing, we can exactly control the location of the capsules. And then based on this laser trigger method, we can control what time we should release the small molecules. So this gives us a spatial temporary control. for the payload, the small molecules. And also we can print the structure, this kind of capsule in a 3D array. So I give you some details about this matter. So for the core, like we can really print in a high resolution. So it's at the nanoliter resolution. So it's really tiny, and the diameter around like 0.1 millimeter, 100 micron. So it's from the curve kind of we can control the size, really control the size of the capsule. So it's very homogeneous. And then just tune the pressure we use to print the core, and also the time we print the core, and how many times we print the core. We can really control the size of the capsules. That means sometimes if we want to load a lot of like small molecules inside, but you know everything they have a solubility. If the solubility they have some limitation, we cannot like really increase the concentration inside the core, but we can increase the size. So based on this method, we can really control how much the small molecules inside the core, and we can even print an array with the different volumes. And also, if we print two inks together, so even inside the core, they may have some chemical or biomedical reactions. And then the second layer, like we just print the polymer layer and with the golden iron rods. So if we select the different dimension of the golden iron rods, that means we can use a different light source to trigger the release. So like here, in the paper, we select two different. So one is shorter one, one is the longer one. So the shorter one have a response to the laser with shorter wavelengths, and the longer one have the response to the longer wavelengths. So that means like even we have a complicated array, we can even use a different laser to trigger the release of the specific capsule we want. So we run that experiment. So on the right. Like if we use the opposite laser to trigger like if we use the longer wavelength laser to trigger shorter, we cannot get a release. Only we use the shorter wavelength laser, we can get a release. And also through like how big the area we damage the capsule, we can also control the release rate. So they really give us a measure to release the molecules, even the drugs we want, get the rate we want. And also like show you like a small video to how we print them in a 3D way. So for the 3D, we can also use the sequential printing, first the core and then the polymer layer. So we first use the emulsion measure to make a water in oil emulsions, and then directly print this emulsion in the hydrogel. But the real printing is slightly slower than this. So basically, you can print like multiple layers. This just demonstrates we can print in a 3D matrix.
Do you have to worry about the enzyme? Like if you put an enzyme in your first layer and you're hitting it with this laser, do you have to worry about? Because I would think it would be a very short burst of your laser, or do you have to worry about degradation of any of the biomolecules?
They're definitely slightly affect the activity, but like we do some calculation, like because I talk about the golden iron like locally heating. So and then the heat transfer only can transfer like a few micrometer range, but our core is like 100 micrometer. So even a 5 actually only a 5. Yeah. And so now we have tools that allow us to really control the chemical cues in the in vitro system. So then we have this like idea. So if we can release some like chemoattractant to the cells, so it means if we like guide the migration of the cells. So if we guide migration of the cell, that means we can guide the tumor cell division to the surrounding matrix, and we can guide the endothelial cell, the cells in the vessel, to form new vessels. But if we can achieve that, that means we can build a model for the metastatic, how the cells exit from the primary spot enter the circulation system to form the circulating tumor cells. Then we can get metastatic models. So then we design this kind of model. So here we first build a channel in the 3D matrix. So this channel, like we can inject the endothelial cells to simulate the blood vessel, and also next to the vessel we print a droplet, a cluster of tumor cells to simulate primary tumor. And then on the two sides, we print some growth factors. So one side growth factor to trigger the migration of the tumor cells. The other growth factors is like get the angiogenesis from the vessels. And also because like we want to really simulate the in vivo situation, so we build everything in the 3D matrix. So we select the fibrin gel as this matrix. Because fibrin gel, we know it's a temporary scaffold in our body. So that means all the cells are really degraded and remodeled to use their own ECM proteins. So give our model some remodeling ability in this part. Because we want to like track the migration of the tumor cells, so as we know, most of the carcinoma cells, they always express the EGF receptor. So that's why that means like if we put some like EGF in the capsules, we want to know if we can release the EGF and form a graduate and track the cell migration towards this graduate. So it's like EGF, and then here we also select, we use the 8549 non-cancer cells as the first model to test. And then here, because like in the biodevelopment tools, we just use the water solution and the core, but we found the release, no matter how we control, is quite fast. So we know the cell, the response is slow. I mean, it's hours, days level, it's not minutes level. So we have to slow down this release rate. So instead of use the water solution and the core, so we use the hydrogel. So gelatin-based hydrogel. So we modify, recirculated the gelatin, and then it's streamed to JAMA. Then we can use the photo to cross-link it. This cross-link the JAMA, the polymer, can like much slow down the diffusion rate of the small molecule inside the core, and then therefore slow down the release rate. And also we use the same cell, same polymer to coat the core. And then we can during the 2-day period, we can get a gradually release of the EGF. We use the fluorescence ion for this EGF to allow us to actually track the release. And then also we quantify them, we can and then compare with the capsule without polymer layer and without release. We can see the red curve here. We can really control the release of the EGF in a 2-day period. And after the release, we want to know if we can form a graduate in the gel system. Because even we release them, like we put everything in the water, in the medium, and the diffusion in the medium is really fast. So once the molecule is released from the capsule, it's immediately homogeneous in the system. So there's no more graduate. That means there's no difference. We just put the drugs, the growth factors.
I just have a question about this design. So you have two of these slowly releasing capsules. So you put the cells there, and the cells kind of coat the walls of this structure?
No.
Like
that structure is just demonstrates we can print a 3D structure. It's not really used for the cell experiment.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you recreate the tumor environment by slow release of the chemokines. Is that how you recreate it?
Yeah. So basically, in the real like model, we design a system like this. So there are two linear array of the capsules on the two sides of the vessels and the tumor cells. So here, and then the next stretch, we want to know if they can form the graduate in the 3D matrix. So we just print a single capsule in the fibrin gel, and then on the two sides of the gel, we print two chambers, and we can add the medium here and collect the the growth factor, the EGF released from the capsules. So one chamber is close to the capsule, the other is further. So if we find the growth factor concentration in these two chambers are different, that means the gradient will form in gel. And then we can see from the curve, the top one, the right curve is for the chamber 1, so it's closer. So we can see there is a much different, obvious difference between these two curves. That means we can form the gradient at least in 2 days for one capsule. That means if we print an array of capsules, so they allow us like to form the gradient in like over 2 weeks. If we print more, then it will give us longer times. So, and then we want to know if we can use these capsules to release the EGF from the gradient, and this gradient can really attract the tumor cell migration. So we just build a very simple model to test this. So we just print a linear array of control capsules without growth factors. And on the other side, we print an array of capsules with the EGF. And every 2 days, we release one capsule from the one closest to the tumor cells. And then we can monitor the behavior of cells to see if they really migrate towards the right, the EGF capsules. So for this, we first do the 3D printer to print the silicon chamber. So this chamber allows us to like test 5 different groups at the same time in the exactly same conditions. So we directly know the repeatability of this measure. So here there's a video like to show time scale fluorescence even on how the cells migrate. So we can see most of cells only migrate to the right. The area with the EGF capsules. So there are random migration on the left, but compared to the right, it's very nothing. And then also like we can need the help of software, so we can directly like tracking the cells. So here the each like right dot is the tumor cells, and then the circle is the capsules. The blue circles are EGF capsules. So we can see how the cells like migrate, and they even give our concept like how far, how fast they can migrate. And then based on the analysis of those like tracking image, there are 3 characters based on this like migration behavior. First is like the population of the cells increase a lot. So, and then we compare the sample without those. In the system, there is no EGF release, and then the sample with EGF release, we can see the EGF can also have another like function. They can promote the proliferation of the tumor cells. That's just consistent with the literature.
If you don't add the fibrin, if you don't add the fibrin, they won't migrate?
No. They just random. Yeah.
It's random. You have to add the fibrin base.
Yeah, we have tried that not in the hydrogel, but also in the medium. Only print class in the medium, but they can migrate out, but it's random. Yeah, that's why like not only the capsule to like contribute to the formation of the gradient, and also the hydrogel. Yeah, but not only fibrin gel, we also use the gel, the gelatin gel is similar, but it's much slower. I believe there are thousands of gel we can use for this.
So that's interesting, right? Because I think if I remember correctly, the stiffness only contributes a little bit to the speed. It's really the matrix type that's more important. So if you get stiffer gels, they don't necessarily move faster.
Actually, I'm not an expert in the migration, but I believe not only the stiffness is very important. I read a lot of paper about the mechanical properties of the gel, and I think the diffusion rate of the chemical cues is also important. So if we have like a very stiff gel, it's really crossing, really tight, the portion is really small, the diffusion is really slow.
But you also need a matrix that the cells can actually basically eat through, right? So if you have something that is firm and not necessarily digestible.
We try the peak type. So And the pipe, we know the cells cannot degrade them,
Right.
so we didn't see that.
And they don't migrate, so.
Yeah. Sometimes they can switch through the pores, but not really guiding
Yeah.
migration. And also we compare this, like if we label each day we label each of the leading cells of the cell cluster. So we can compare like which the direction the cells migrate and how far they can migrate each day. Then we can calculate the velocity of the cell migration. And this clear shows is a one-way migration only towards the EGF gradient. And also we compare with the other cell lines, not only the lung cancer cell. We also use the melanoma cells and for example, and because it's a more aggressive cancer, and we found they even migrate like further in the same days. And also we use the endothelial cell that control. We know the endothelial cells express very few EGF receptors, so they have no response to the EGF gradient. So if we see a green part, so nearly no change from the day 1 to after 10 days. So that means we already use our tools, like the capsule tools, can guide the migration of the cells. And then for the model, the next main component is if we can build the channel to form the blood vessels inside the 3D matrix. So because we know how to easily to design chambers, and then so during the design chambers, I just simply put a metal pin, a metal wire during the printing, and then from this chamber, and after the printing, after the silicon rubber cured, and then we just cast or print the gel inside the chamber, and after the gel is crouching into this firm, and we just simply remove the metal wire. Then there's a channel inside the 3D matrix. And then we can just inject the endothelial cells into the channel, and after the certain time culture, like the overnight culture, the endothelial cell will attach to the channel, and then to form this blood vessel, like the channel to the endothelial layers. And then we can also use a fluorescence dye, the solution of fluorescence, to try if the vessel is perfusible. So we can see here, it's very few diffusion of the blood dye to the strongly matrix. That means the cells form the endothelial barrier and hold the solution, the fluorescence dye inside the channels. Really like the blood vessels, and we also use the chromosomal to show the movement structure of this vessel. And then we want to test this another really important process, angiogenesis during metastasis. So we want to see if we can use another growth factor gradient to trigger this process and guide this process. So we use the VEGF, and then we load the VEGF into the capsule, and then release the VEGF, and then we can see some of the branch vessels we form along the main vessels, and then most of them on the capsule side. So that means we can also use our tools to guide the angiogenesis. Then we have two weapons: one is the cancer for the cancer cells, one is for the blood vessels. So if we combine them together, then we can get the models we want. So let's go back to this schematic, and then we can see we have those basically 4 components in this model. So we use design chamber can hold all these components in the chamber. Of course, we need a metal pin here to form the channel. And then on the two ends of the channel, so we leave 2 square chambers. So one chamber should allow us to perfuse some drugs. This is for the drug testing. So really simulate the in vivo drug delivery. All the drugs first enter the circulation system and deliver to the tumor blood vessels. So we leave one chamber for that. And another chamber is give another important case of this model. We can directly collect the metastatic cells, those circulating tumor cells. Because if the cells enter the vessel, and then we can collect from the end, then we can directly get this circulating tumor cells and run some analysis. We know the circulating tumor cells, the amount in our body is really, really low. That's really hard to find the metastatic kind of that's the reason. So this method gives us directly collect these cells to run analysis. So here is one representative like models. We have the green cluster is the effect on the tumor cells, and the other side is the right is the pseudo cells labeled with red fluorescence so to form the blood vessels. And then I give you some example about what the linear like capsules looks like. And also on the bottom the two lines we can see that we can really control the lasers to rupture the individual capsules. So and then this is the cell result. So after like the long time culture, and every 2 days we released a pair of capsules, right? VEGF capsule, right? EGF capsules. Then we can see like some small like new vessels like form, the daughter vessels formed from the vessels, and then they grow towards the tumor like droplet. Also the VEGF graduate to the same direction. And also the tumor cells like might slow invite to the surrounding matrix and then like migrate towards the vessels guided by the EGF graduate. And after even longer time culture, we can find some tumor cells like integrated into the vessels, and we can detect some like observe some like green cells inside the vessel. Also from the chamber I mentioned before, like the chamber one end of the vessel, we can collect these metastatic cells. So and then with the longer time culture, we collect more cells here. It's around like almost 1,000 cells. So after like more than 2 weeks culture, so that means we have a lot of material on us to analysis. What's the difference between the cells? The cells that can migrate and the cells they don't migrate out, metastatic from the metastatic. So we can directly tell the difference. I think the benefit of here is like those cells not only like directly collect the metastatic from the original sponge, we can also like directly culture them and then they have a lot of multiplication, they grow fast, and then so we can get more and more cells in the chamber. And then we just directly run the gene test for the cells. We can do cells really express like the metastatic cells really and then NCAT, which are very important cancer markers. So that means so the cells become like migrate out and form the metastasis. That means so they express more Remington, they give more ability of movement. So this also like consistent with what we had an individual, same like the literature talk. So that means there's really good tools to allow us to like study the process of metastasis. And also another application of this model is like this is also the most important like application of this model is we can use this model to screen drugs to do the drug test. So such the help of that. Also here, so we get these two immunotoxins, then we can run this kind of target drug testing. So here on the first row of the first group sample, we directly inject this EGF targeting cancer drug through the vessel, and then the drugs can diffuse from the vessel and then show that that's new branches vessels and then reach to the tumor cells, and we can see like in like 9 days period no growth of the tumor cells, even durability decreased. And then we run 2 groups of control experiment. One is we use a drug. They cannot target the EGF receptor. They target the CD22, which basically are the B cells, but we don't have B cells in this system, so it's more like an off-target control. So we can see it's near the tumor cells still grow really fast. It's basically the same as we didn't do any drug treatment. For example, we didn't do drug treatment, so basically the same. So that means this model really gives us the ability to test the drug. We can also run some like quantitative analysis, like we can compare the effect of the drugs at different time points. And also, most important thing is like the curve on the corner, because so we know like in your real system it's really complicated as I talked before. So and also we can demonstrate that in our model because we just simply like one model we put the fibroblast, the stromal cells, and then the other model is just like no stromal cells, only tumor cells and the vessels. We can see even the drug response is quite different. So the black curve is for the 2D structure, so it's not really to the cell impairment. So we can see the drugs can kill the cells really fast. But if we build these 3D models and then let them to diffuse from the vessel and then go to the tumor, we found it's slower. That means the higher drug resistance. This may be due to the diffusion or some region, but it can really give us the information what really happened in vivo. Why does some drugs like work for the cells but not work in our body? And but if we incorporate more components, we put the fibroblast, the response even slower, the resistance even higher. So that give more clue what really happened. So if we build a model, we will always talk about biological relevance. So if we put more components in to simulate the real tumor environment, we can have more information what really happened after we do the drug treatment.
And when you used this model, did it incorporate the vessels as well?
Yeah.
This did?
Yeah.
And is there some way to quantitate the effect of the drug on the vessels?
Actually, I have, but I didn't put the figures here. But I have compared here. So this the result like when we analyze the change of the vessels.
Behind you probably knows what I'm thinking here, because generally one of the complications that you get with EBAT and canines is
I have all the
is hypertension, and that.
So this bar chart is talk about the response of the endothelial cells, the vessels, the left one. So we can see no matter which drugs, it's the viability of
No effect on humans.
Yeah.
Got it. Nice.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens if you substitute DGF4 for ABAT.
Yeah, it's already
So I actually already started that part, but now it's not
Ben, are you doing this experiments with EBAT
actually,
or somebody else?
I'm developing a model especially for that drug.
Okay.
Yeah, I will talk after this.
Yeah.
So, but I haven't really tried the drugs because I need some time to figure out.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Could you develop this for hypoxia so that you can adjust the size of, well, you wouldn't, I don't know, you have to adjust the size of your tumor,
Droplet.
your cells that you're putting down, but I mean, could you look at the effect of that since hypoxia is such a big factor in terms of vessel development and drug delivery and drug resistance and basically accumulation of a drug within a tumor cell or a tumor?
I think that's a good direction. I haven't tried that, but I think it's a good direction because I already, for the next project, I already found some, like, it's not a problem, but similar in vivo, like, inside the tumor, since the pressure is huge, so that means the bloodstream is really hard to enter that part. That means it's really hard to deliver the drugs over here. So, because in the current model, it's more like most the vessel is still on the vessel part, not really enter the inside part of the tumor. So we cannot really run that test. But for the model I introduced like after this, so maybe have more clue about that, and we can try more things with that. So, like, to answer that question, other questions, like, we want to operate our current model like to this new model. It's more like the structure, the real tumor structure. So in the real tumor structure, inside the tumor, there are a lot of building vessels. Not only the vessels, but the new vessels from the new vessels. So we are considering if we can directly like incorporate some capillaries inside this tumor droplet. And also this kind of vascularized tumor structure can give us one more target for drugs. It's the tumor generated vessels. Then we can try the drugs. We talk about the EBAT, right? EBAT. Yeah. So basically, like our current model.
And the one thing that I'm sure you're aware of this, but EBAT is different than EGF4 KDAL, because EBAT is ATF KDAL, which is your kinase, right?
Yeah.
So that's another reason it'd be very interesting to see the effects on the vessels.
Yeah.
Your kinase is a target, and everybody's been saying, well, EBAT probably preferentially targets the tumor neovasculature, and the question is that
so
really true?
Here, I'd like to throw in some tumor macrophages.
Yeah.
So that's inside that tumor droplet, these vessels are directly generated by the tumor cells. Like, so this directly, like here, the direct the interaction between the cell, the tumor cells and the vessel. So that means if that drug comes to target that part, so we can directly analyze the vessel, the capillary form inside the tumor. So we can directly know the result.
Have you ever thrown Avastin into this model, the anti-VEGF receptor, to see if you can actually model vessel normalization?
You mean directly do the staining of
Well, I mean, whether you put it in a capsule or straight into the vessel. So the idea with the VEGF competitors is that you take those tortuous disorganized vessels and you make them more normal. I think this would be a phenomenal model to actually ask that question if that really happens.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you were talking about the incredible pressure inside the tumor, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that they've noticed is that Avastin reduces that intratumoral pressure and improves drug delivery.
Yeah.
But the vessel normalization concept has never been directly proven. It's an inference. So you could actually test that directly.
Yeah.
One of the more, I mean, it's a remarkable model in a lot of ways because, the other most common way to do it would be in these, window models like Bishkov here does. And I mean, those are just so difficult, but if you can get good numbers on this it's amazing.
Because our current model, we use the concept called modularized assembly. Like, we have a part of tumor, we have a part of vessel, we have a part of chemical, the single molecules. So they are just like very regular distribution in the model because we control it, we put them there. So like in the future, if we want to make the model really like the micro environment of tumor in the human being, in your body, that means like we need to make more complicated. So we want to like more interaction between the cells. That's why we first try to put this kind of something and then replace the old maybe the tumor cell something. And so this, then in this model, we first need like a dominant like contain more components like the stromal cells, like the vessels to form capillaries, and also the matrix and the tumor cells, and how to save the vessels and the stromal matrix. So we first like try to figure out how we can build this kind of tumor droplet first. So we just simply like mix them and print them out as a droplet, like inside the fabric gel. And then in this droplet, they contain the fibroblast and the stroma, and then also the stromal cells, and also the tumor cells, including cells, and then the line expression cells. And after the almost 1 week culture, so we can see the like some like QX, the endothelial cells, like connected together to help you treat to form some capillaries. But we found it's not really good network. And then also for the long-time culture, some like QX, you will die, you cannot survive. So we want to know if we can introduce some growth factor. Of course, we already in the project we know the EGF, IGF helpful, but we put the molecules not helpful enough. So we also like put another small molecules, PMA, and then to help them to form better network inside the droplet. So if we compare the PMA positive group, we can see they form much better network, and the viability of the endocrine cells is also better. Then we can like put this all the components together and then to form this the ratio for the drug test, and then we can see like at beginning we have the tumor droplet and the ratio on and a bit long time culture, and then after we like add the growth factors into the system and release the growth factor PMA, IGF, EGF, we can see like the main vessel and the vessel network inside the tumor droplet can connect together. That allows us to perfuse the drugs into the network inside the tumor droplet. And I give you some details because this project is still ongoing. I can give you some, but I can still give you some details about these models. So the left way you can see like this is the image of the vessels inside the tumor droplet. You have this tube structure. So and it also sets the capillary level. So this formed inside tube. And then the main vessel part, we can see some branches. There are some branches from the main vessels. We can see some main vessels, and the level is not capillary, much bigger. So it's more like arterial ones. And also because like we want to know if we can really perfuse the drugs into this network. So we try to like perfuse some fluorescent beads into the vessel system, and then we can see the blue bead can enter the network between the main vessels and here. We can find some like blue dots here, but unfortunately, so far we cannot find any dots inside the tumor part. So that's after read some literature, I found that maybe there's pressure problem or something. But I think the drugs will be better than the beads because the size is much smaller. So it's different level, which is better, but still there's a big problem. So in the current work, I try to introduce another vessels. It can be simulated the effective vessel, can be another blood vessel to form a circuit, and then on the two sides of the tumor. So and if we can reduce this pressure and force this, no matter beads and drugs, to go through the tumor droplet. So I'm doing that. So and then after we solve that problem, then we can really try this drug to event. We have two targets. And our model of the target, our model is to provide these two like targeting sites, like the two receptors, two different components to give to the drug. But I want us to run the drug test. So okay. And then the final is about the summary of the whole project. So here we try to use the 3D printing technology to build a model. The model can both like physically and chemically to like mimic the tumor environment, like give us a dynamic environment to test the drugs, to test the new treatment for the cancer, and they have like collect the CTCs, and also like they can really mimic the tumor cell invasion, the tumor cell infiltration, this kind of process, and then we can even like we can use the capsule to log the different factors. The factor we don't know the effects of, and to investigate the mechanism of these factors, their rules in the tumor environment. And also like, because the 3D printing can, now we just started this project, so structure looks quite regular and relatively simple, but in the future we can enhance the complexity of the models, even we can directly get the cells from patients and print the cells to get patient-specific models. Of course, the most important, like we can like incorporate even the immune cells, some other stromal cells into the system, and provide more like the target for the drugs, and then to test the different drugs. Okay. So finally, I will thank the support from PIs, both in Mike in mechanical engineer and Angela in the medical school, and of course the funding agency for us, the money for the research. Okay. So thank you for your attention.
So we've kind of had the questions during the seminar, but does anyone else have any others that you would like to ask? We have another minute or two. I think we kind of interrupted you quite a bit.
Oh, it's I like that. I like to discuss it.
Yeah. Are there any other questions?
That's really cool.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Thank you very much.
Okay.